Here's the question analysis of Unit 3 Practice Paper, Paper 1. We'll be looking at some challenging questions in Part A, and I'll be showing you how you can find the right answers for these questions. The first question we want to look at is question 16. Part 1 of the question asks, when would students at Michaela eat lunch in a separate room? And Part 2 asks, how did Birbal Singh defend this practice? Here's the relevant passage. The sentences highlighted in purple are not relevant to the question, and the sentences highlighted in green will give you the answer to Part 1 of the question. Students at Michaela eat lunch in a separate room when their parents failed to pay for lunch. Let's look at Part 2 of the question. How did Birbal Singh defend this practice? The phrase, this practice, here refers to students eating lunch in a separate room, and we can find the answer in the passage highlighted in yellow. Note that the verb argued is used in this passage, and it is similar in meaning to defend in the question. What Birbal Singh is arguing here is that she was treating the students much better than other schools, where the students might not get any lunch at all. So that is the answer to question 16, part 2. Now let's look at another question. Question 17. Based on paragraph 7, how does Michaela make students' lives better according to Birbal Singh? There are 2 lines for you to write your answers, so you are expected to write down 2 ways in which Michaela makes students' lives better. Here's the relevant passage. You'll notice that the passage discusses many advantages of the school, so how can you summarise them into just 2 points? What you need to do is to identify the main ideas and that some of the points that Birbal Singh makes either overlap in meaning or are in support of the main ideas. So, highlighted in pink here are many points of discussion that all point to how students do not waste time at Michaela. And highlighted in green are actually points about how students are safe from fights and bullying at Michaela. So, to answer this question, Michaela makes students' lives better by first allowing students to focus better and learn instead of wasting time, and second, by keeping students safe from fights and bullying. Here's another question, question 20, which asks you to match the correct subheadings A to D to the paragraphs in the text. The subheadings are A. Free at last, B. Rules, 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 C. Passing judgment, and D. Making the news. Subheadings usually summarise what a whole section is about. So what you'll need to do is to find out the main idea in each section and match it to a subheading that expresses the same idea. First, take a look at the first section of the text as specified in the table, paragraph 1. Here you'll see in the underlined phrases that it is discussing the rest period between classes when students are free. The subheading that matches this passage is A. Free at last. The second section specified in the table goes from paragraph 2 to paragraph 4. In this passage, the many rules at Michaela are described in detail. So, subheading B, Rules, 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 is a good match to this section. The third section specified in the table goes from paragraph 5 to paragraph 6. These 2 paragraphs discuss the criticisms and praise Michaela has received. What is important to note is that the press is mentioned in paragraph 6. From that, we can tell that the controversy regarding lunch arrangements at Michaela was probably reported by the press. So the option making the news is a suitable subheading for this section. The only option left is C, which is matched to the last section. Now it is your turn to try using these exam skills to answer some similar questions. Answer the questions below based on this text in your unit assessment.